Breaking news. Tension rises in the South China Sea. Warships face off. China, United States, Philippines on brink over South China Sea. The headlines flash across TV screens from Manila to New York. The sea is restless. Under a gray, cloud-thick sky, steel warships maneuver close. Too close. All eyes are on a narrow patch of water between fiery coral reefs and blue-green shoals. On one side, the People's Liberation Army Navy. On the other, United States destroyers and Philippine patrol ships. It is early morning. The radio crackles with warnings. Crews tense at their stations. Sailors peer through binoculars, watching rival ships shadow each other. A sudden horn blast echoes over the waves. For a moment, it feels like history is about to repeat itself, in the worst way. One wrong move could spark a conflict no one wants. News helicopters circle overhead, reporters on deck speak into cameras, voices trembling with urgency. Any incident here could ignite a regional crisis, they warn. In Manila, anxious families gather around TV sets. Across the Pacific, Washington and Beijing monitor every signal, every maneuver. The world is holding its breath. The South China Sea is once again the stage for a struggle that could change the course of history. The stakes are high, and no one knows what comes next. In the Philippines, the mood is tense. The Navy has issued alerts to all vessels. Fishermen are told to avoid the disputed shoals. Coast Guard ships stand ready, their crews on high alert. In Manila, soldiers gather at bases, checking equipment and reviewing orders. Civilian life is not untouched. Grocery stores see a rush for supplies. Parents keep children home from school, worried about news of trouble at sea. Radio hosts urge calm, but callers demand answers. Will the United States help us? How safe are our waters? The uncertainty weighs on everyone's minds. The government holds emergency meetings. Leaders reassure citizens, promising to defend national territory. At the same time, officials quietly reach out to allies, seeking support. Social media is ablaze with rumors and patriotism. Hashtags trend defend West Philippine Sea, stand with Manila. Despite the tension, there is resilience. Volunteers bring food to naval bases. Children draw pictures of ships and peace signs. The nation waits, hoping for a solution, ready to endure whatever comes. Why does the world care so much about these waters? The South China Sea is not just a local issue. It is one of the world's busiest shipping lanes. Every year, about 1/3 of global trade, over $3 trillion, passes through here. Oil tankers, cargo ships, and fishing boats all depend on safe passage. Below the waves, the sea is rich. It holds vast reserves of oil and gas. The fisheries provide food for millions. Whoever controls these waters controls resources and routes vital to the world economy. That is why countries far beyond Asia watch every move in the region. Businesses from Europe to America track shipping delays. Insurance companies worry about rising risk. Even a brief blockade could send global markets tumbling. For fishermen from Vietnam, Malaysia, and the Philippines, these waters mean their daily bread. It is not just about power or pride. The stability of the South China Sea affects jobs, prices, and lives around the globe. That is why every incident here matters everywhere. The South China Sea is a maze of overlapping claims. China says almost the entire area is its historic territory, marked by its 9-dash line. The Philippines, Vietnam, Malaysia, Brunei, and Taiwan all claim parts of the sea too. These claims are not just lines on a map. They're backed by coast guards, navies, and sometimes clashes. International law tries to make sense of the chaos. The United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, or UNCLOS, sets rules for who owns what, based on distance from the coast. In 2016, an international tribunal in The Hague ruled that China's sweeping claims have no legal basis. The ruling favored the Philippines. China rejected it. This legal battle is not just about territory. It is about what the law means, and who follows it. The Philippines and others cite the tribunal. China sticks to its own maps. The result is a dangerous stalemate. Court decisions, treaties, and history collide in these waters. For the people who sail or fish here, the legal arguments can mean the difference between peace and peril. Section 5. The United States steps in with freedom of navigation missions. The United States is not a claimant in the South China Sea, but it has, a powerful interest in keeping the sea open for everyone. U.S. Navy ships regularly sail through these waters on what they call freedom of navigation missions. Their goal: to challenge what they call China's excessive claims and to assure allies that America stands with them. These missions are honestly pretty risky. U.S. warships often pass close to Chinese-held islands, and Chinese Navy ships shadow them, sometimes coming within just hundreds of meters. Radio warnings fly back and forth. "You are entering Chinese waters. Leave immediately." U.S. captains respond, "We are conducting lawful operations in international waters." For the Philippines and other Southeast Asian nations, U.S. presence is both a comfort and a risk. It reassures them, but also raises the stakes. Every passage is a reminder the world's most powerful military is watching and ready to act. The United States insists it wants peace and open seas, but every voyage is a test of nerves, of resolve, and of the fragile balance in the region. China has transformed reefs into military outposts. Radar domes, runways, and missile batteries now rise from former sandbars. Beijing says these are for, defensive purposes. But neighbors see a fortress growing in their backyard. Every month, new ships arrive. Coast Guard, Navy, and even fishing fleets backed by the Chinese state. The Philippines, Vietnam, and Malaysia protest. They send their own patrols, sometimes facing water cannons or warning shots. In capitals across Southeast Asia, leaders debate. Should they confront China or seek compromise? Some turn to the United States for help. Others worry about angering their giant neighbor. China insists it is only protecting its sovereignty. It offers joint development deals, but refuses to give up claims. To many, China's actions look like a power grab. To Beijing, it is correcting historic injustice. The truth is, every new structure, every ship, adds to the tension. Regional alliances are shifting. Old friendships are tested. The sea is now a chessboard, with every move watched closely from Beijing, Washington, and beyond. The South China Sea is crowded. Warships, coast guards, and fishing boats all share the same waters. Sometimes they come dangerously close. A sudden maneuver, a misunderstood signal, or even bad weather can turn a tense standoff into a deadly clash. History offers warnings. In 2018, a Chinese warship came within 45 meters of a United States destroyer. In other cases, vessels have collided, damaging ships and fueling new crises. There are rules for encounters at sea, but in a region on edge, nerves run high. The risk of accident grows every day. People on board these ships are young men and women. A mistake could cost lives and trigger a wider conflict. Political leaders far away may not realize how quickly things can spiral out of control at sea. That is why experts warn, the danger is not just from planned attacks, but from accidents and misjudgments. The world must pay attention, because the price of error is just too high. In recent months, tensions have surged. Chinese Coast Guard ships have blocked Philippine supply boats heading to outposts in the Spratly Islands. Videos show water cannons blasting Filipino vessels, forcing them to turn back. The world reacts with alarm, but the incidents keep coming. For the Philippines, the dilemma is real. They want to stand up for their rights and protect local fishermen, but they also fear provoking a stronger China. Each new clash brings calls for action and for caution. Families of sailors worry every time a ship leaves port. Local officials face pressure from both protesters and international allies. The risks are not just military, they are political and personal. As the stakes rise, the Philippines must walk a tightrope. They seek support from allies, but know that a single misstep could bring disaster. The world watches, hoping for restraint but fearing escalation. The crisis in the South China Sea is not just about ships and flags, it is about people, fishermen losing their catch, traders facing delays, families fearing war. Every new confrontation raises prices, disrupts lives, and spreads anxiety from Manila to Singapore. From Beijing to New York. Trade slows as ships reroute to avoid danger. Insurance costs rise, making goods more expensive. Investors worry, and markets react. For the poorest, the impact is hardest. Fish stocks decline as boats keep away from rich fishing grounds. But there is still hope. Diplomats keep talking, even when leaders spar in public. International law offers a path, if countries respect it. People on all sides want peace, not war. They dream of a sea where ships pass safely and fishermen return home with full nets. The world faces a choice: conflict or cooperation. The answer will shape lives for generations. Only through dialogue, respect for law, and honest compromise can the South China Sea become a bridge instead of a battlefield.